despite the damp, slick tyre weather.
It is very confusing to watch from the outside, isn't it, Richard? Because the windscreen wipers are going constantly, but the track condition still very much slick, a slick surface.
Well, these cars running in 4th and 7th positions at the moment. There's a lap or two between them.
Yeah, it's very interesting what Alan Grice was saying about getting the temperature into the tyres, and to see the HRT car leave the warm slick tyres on as into the pits comes the Preston and Peters entry.
So Michael Preston coming on board to join Brett Peters when Kevin Waldock was unable to drive this weekend.
Now this could be a story of tyres again.
It's our Ford pit report. I know Kevin Waldock will be watching today, his team, their efforts at Mount Panorama Bathurst.
We're getting down to the wire, 20 laps to go.
15 seconds is the split between 1st and 2nd. Jimmy Richards in the Winfield Commodore and Larry Perkins in the Castrol Commodore.
As we understand it, going by the number of stops the Winfield have had and the duration of their stints on the track, they will have to make another stop.
John Hewson. They've got a slight problem here, have they? No, it's ready to go.
So back onto the circuit. Dr. John's had a good day at Bathurst, despite the weather.
He's right, well and truly into it.
This is the car in question, car 1, Jimmy Richards at the wheel, still leading the race by 15 seconds. 20 laps to go. This one's going right down to the wire. Let's check them out on the Caltex race score. Scaife and Richards leading, as I said. Perkins and Hansford, 15 seconds. That's all that's in it. Gardner and Jones still holding down 3rd. Brabham and Olafson in 4th. Seaton and Jones in the first of the Fords in 5th. In 6th, Dunstan and Harrington. In 7th, Brabham and Parsons. Position 8, Jones and Crick. Great effort, that. Position 9, Radisich and McConville in the battered Shell Racing Falcon. And in 10, Finnegan and Rogers. 20 laps to go. This is going to be one hell of a race.
Back at Mount Panorama Bathurst, the Tooheys 1000 continues. Lap 142 of 161, 5 hours 46 minutes and a few seconds into today's great race. And car number 1, Jimmy Richards, the exit to that turn and the work up Mountain Straight, trying to build that lead up because he still has one pit stop to go, and an interesting development with tyres in the pits about this car and this team. Alan Grice.
Well, this is the money end of the race, and this is the story end of the race in my book, because Jimmy Richards at the moment is pulling away from Larry Perkins about a second a lap. Larry's on slicks, as we know, and they are now hot and operating as well as they are. So Fred's going to pull the car down. He's going for a race tyre that's used, but he's also put a slight groove in it. He has to stop. Perkins doesn't. It's only a quick stop, only for fuel, and they don't even know exactly how much fuel, because with these slippery conditions, they're getting much better economy. So what they'll do in the car is they'll wait until they get fuel surge, hit on the reserve, come into the pits, put these on, and hope that Jimmy can run him down. It should be a great finish. Well, Alan, what would you say? What would be your ploy? You've been there and done it all before. Is it going to work? Will they have enough time? Because Jim's obviously sprinting to try and build up a lead over Perkins to cover his backside when he pits. Well, if he's able to get away from Perkins now, when they're both on slicks, with that greasy condition out there, he should be able to really haul him in with these. But then he has got a pit. So it's going to be very, very close. But I really think that Fred's has pulled the right card. He's gone for the right call. And if anybody can catch him in greasy conditions, Jimmy can. So it should be a really great finish. I think at the time that Perkins took his decision, it was the right one. Maybe he could have left the hot tyres on and saved some time. But it turned out to be the right one. And leaving Jimmy on slicks at the moment is right. Now he's got to call his petrol, put these on and go for it. And I think that's the right decision too. Well, it's very interesting. Obviously this is a pit stop, or the one that's coming up. They can't afford to bungle in any way. And Gibson Motorsport, rarely do they bungle a pit stop. And they've got the right guy out there in the greasy conditions. Here's a guy we've been following throughout today. Thanks to STP Race Cam, car number 30, Glenn Seaton, the Peter Jackson Falcon, runs 5th on the road in the great race. Checking out the mirrors.
It's a pretty cool customer, chewing on his drink straw there. He's got the race leader right behind him.
I watched him last year. I thought he was going to have to pull into the pits and be taken to hospital with plastic poisoning at one stage. But he heads on up the hill. And at this stage, Richards comes looming up on the outside of him.
Well, that's interesting, Mike. The gap between Perkins and Richards has come down to 16 seconds. Now, what you've got to remember is this stop will probably take about 30 seconds or less. But the important thing to remember with the pit stop is about 30 seconds total slowing down and speeding up time. So you're looking about a minute where the Fred Gibson car will be off the race pace. So with a 15-second gap, that would put Perkins in front. But it all hinges on this weather situation.
Well, that means that Jim, when he comes out, is going to have to still catch Perkins and pass him.
He sure is, but if the weather falls Jimmy's way and he's got those tyres better suited to greasy conditions, I reckon he'll be able to chomp into Perkins' lead fairly effectively. And in that condition, it'll go right down to the wire.
Well, it's obviously got a little bit more damp because the times have gone out by about another 2 to 3 seconds a lap.
They're out to 2:23, 2:24 now for the two front guys, whereas before they were doing 20s and 21. So it is getting greasy out there. And as Gricey said, Freddo's probably got the right call. He's had the advantage, I guess, of having a bit of time to assess the weather, whereas Perkins had to make his decision about 20 laps ago.
Well, you've had the opportunity, courtesy of STP, to check the circuit out for yourself. We're riding in the front air dam of Glenn Seaton's PJ Falcon. He goes beneath the GIO bridge. It's like bone dry down Conrod Straight.
Oh, it's a tough one to call. It really is in the lap of the gods, I guess. Whether it rains more or whether it dries up. One way or the other, it's going to help one of these two cars.
We haven't had a speckle on the camera lens until we come up now on some cars that Glenn has to put a lap on. Down the inside of the Dillman-Cotter BMW, the Clark 6-inch entry, and into the left-hander.
So it continues the wreckage of the Percy car off in the Armco there. And there's a few of these wrecks lying around the track. It's been a tough race, but really the shootout has been at the front from lap 1.
Glenn continues, car number 30. As we said, running in 5th spot at the moment, the 55 car. Steve Harrington, Troy Dunson, the Quicks Pepsi Commodore that's been running strong all day in 6th place at the moment. They head up the mountain, and I'm very pleased to say that Dick Johnson, who was taken off to hospital to be checked out, has joined Sandy Roberts in our pit studio.
Yes, thank you, Mike, and it is good to have Dick here in one piece, I might add, but I put a story to air this morning, Dick, on you, and I think we said at the end of the story, the one thing you don't want is any bad luck. Jiminy cricket, you couldn't have had it any worse, could you?
It was you that caused that, wasn't it?
Oh, it must have been. If it was, I apologise. Firstly, how are you? What happened in hospital?
Oh, I'm fine. Actually, they took a heap of x-rays and that, and I've got swelling where I don't normally have swellings, but other than that, I'm fine.
No breakages or anything like that?
No, just quite a few sprains and things like that.
Well, look, you haven't seen this from this position, so here we go.
I felt it.
At normal speed. Could you believe it when it happened?
Sandy, I've been coming here a lot of years, and it beats me, it really beats me how some of these guys get an international licence and do one race a year.
Well, that's what John Bow said. He was absolutely amazed.
I'm shocked because, like, they are half an hour behind the car.
Well, here you are in slow motion. He just comes straight across and rams into you, just pushing you into the wall and ending your campaign for the year.
Yeah, you could say that. That's a $200,000 motor car that's no longer any good.
Well, that was my next question, because unfortunately young Cameron, who's done such a good job, also hit concrete. Yep. I mean, how many dollars have gone up in smoke today for you?
I don't know. We'll get back and sort of take count, but, you know, we'll be back again.
I'm sure you will be back again, but, you know, you cover yourself very well, because it must be heartbreaking, not only for you, but for the entire team. I think you've got a team of 27 here this week that have put in so many hours to see it. I mean, it's a little like committing suicide, isn't it?
It doesn't take long to happen, but it takes a long time to repair. There's an awful lot of work goes into building those cars.
Yeah, well, I mean, what happens now, Dick? I mean, you go back and you start from scratch?
Yeah, we've got another body shell up there, which we're currently preparing, so obviously that'll be the next one that comes online, and that'll be the the car, hopefully, that I'll be driving in the next race.
Can you take something like this any further? I mean, is there such a thing as a... I mean, you'd probably like to go outside with a pair of boxing gloves, but is there any form of protest, or can you start the ball rolling somewhere?
Well, I think that we've got to get the rest of the system up to the speed of our cars and up to the speed of the professionalism that's in this sport right here and now. And I think there are a lot of people on the wings that aren't very professional.
Mike Raymond, Dick. Good to see you up and about. You've got a bit of a smile on your face. I reckon those race cam crosses, they must set the scene for disaster with you.
Oh, I wouldn't say that, Mike. That the race cam crosses I really enjoy doing. It's just it's very frustrating sometimes when you try so hard and get so far, and then things like this happen. And for some reason it seems to happen to me. Maybe I've just got a magnet on my car or something.
Well, it's been a busy day. Of course, Cameron McConville earlier, I mean, some people be critical and say, why put a youngster in the car? But Cameron admitted this was his fault. He got it around, just caught the wall. Notice the head. But fortunately able to get the car back in again. I guess that's chasing Cameron just a little bit, but at least I think some of the young drivers of Australia would like to thank you because you've been able to bring these youngsters on.
Well, yeah, that's all part and parcel of what this game's all about, Mike, and I think in the very near future we're going to have to bring along a lot more young fellows like Cameron. He's done a great job all weekend. It's just unfortunate that he made a small mistake and paid a fairly severe penalty for it, because the car was running extremely well up to that point.
Well, they're up to 9th. Good to know you're okay, because we've all been riding with you all day long, and Tom Smith's getting better in hospital, so he'll kick the tin, obviously, for some more money.
I hope so. Thanks, Mike.
Okay, buddy. Now, the one car. Headed for the pits, Jimmy Richards. He has to do this. It has to be a faultless stop. Take it away, Alan.
Guess what? They're leaving the tyres on. They're going to go home with the warm slicks. It's only a couple of... They're measuring fuel by time. They know the fuel rate, and he'll be out of here with a fishtail so quickly. But they're actually... The fuel is flowing in. They've worked out how much they need to get home. They're timing the flow, and they're out.
Whoa.
That's a quickie.
22 seconds, I had it. And Larry Perkins has ducked through to the lead.
Yeah, you want to know where he is? He's on his way up Mountain Straight at the moment.
Oh, boy. We've got a race in our hands, folks. Larry Perkins, you heard the roar from the crowd on pit straight. He's taken the lead. Pushes his way up. 17 seconds, I have it, is the lead. But keep in mind, too, Jimmy Richards has to come out of the pits and get back up to race speed, so Perkins will probably be able to build a few seconds onto that. And this is it. This is down to the wire. 147 laps. Boy, this is going to be close.
Final 14 laps are going to be like all get out here at Mount Panorama between these top two cars. Let's in fact check out the top 10 at this stage on our Caltex race score. Perkins and Hansford assume the lead over Scaife and Richards. Third spot Gardner and Jones in the Telecom Mobile Net Commodore. Brabham and Olofsson, second Winfield car hold fourth. Seaton and Alan Jones in the Peter Jackson entry in fifth position. Dunstan Harrington still in there in sixth place in the Pitch Pepney Commodore. Brabham and Parsons in the second Peter Jackson entry seventh. Jones and Crick, the Ampol Max 3 Commodore, hold eighth place. Radisich and McConville still doing it for the Dick Johnson Shell team in car 18 holding ninth spot. And Finnegan Rogers, the Foodtown Commodore's Commodore, in 10th place. Back shortly. Heck of a finish, you're not kidding. Larry Perkins, race leader, 16-second advantage as they pass the start-finish line, but I think that might have extended just a little bit because rounding the turn here, Hell Corner on the way up Mountain Straight just a second ago, we saw Jimmy Richards have quite a slide, got it back under control, but would have lost some time.
Oh, he went up the escape road, Wilco, to back it up. He would have lost a ton of time.
Yeah, a major lose, and certainly the wrong end of the day to have it.
Boy, boy.
Interestingly, because Richards has here it is in
Let's
replay.
look at this again. Now, that's the Lusty's car getting out of control. He slid around. Now, Richards was coming into view there. The camera can't quite see it.